that you might want. The tarot is comprised of cards, picture cards, and a third of them are archetypal figures. The Empress, the Joker, the Queen, and more. For our purposes, he, she, is the archetype of compassion, mercy, the one who hears the cries of the world. I think we can all relate to that. Who in this room is not hearing the cries of the world on a daily basis? Avalokiteshvara began male and is named in numerous chants, most notably the Heart Sutra, which we just spent some time studying on Wednesday evenings with Tim. And it begins, Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva, when deeply practicing Prajna Paramita, clearly saw that all 5 aggregates are empty. Well, Avalokiteshvara is our guide in a way. Since first appearing in Buddhist literature and art at the beginning of the Common Era, Avalokiteshvara has appeared in different forms and different genders in different cultures. So I like to think of Avalokita and Kuan Yin as our trans deity. And this was partially in response, or completely in response, I suppose, to cultural changes, but definitely first a male, and this is a good example of that. What we see often is holding a lotus in one hand, and I think that is a lotus in the left hand, and in the right hand it's an invitation to come forward. This would be the Padmapani Lokeshvara form, and later forms can show the Bodhisattva seated and with multiple arms and heads, as I'll talk about in a minute. In some texts, Avalokiteshvara is considered to be the source and the divine creator of all of the Hindu deities. So it goes back that far. And as I think many of you know, Buddhism has picked up the cultural qualities of the different countries. I mean, think about it. Buddha was born in Nepal, which is really like the north edge of India. So then it's India, and then it's Burma, and then it's China, it's the Southeast Asia, then Korea, then Japan. And every one of those cultures imbues a little bit onto both the Buddha and onto the iconic figures. Avalokiteshvara is a really great example of that. A manifestation of the Buddha for the purpose of Dharma teaching, and an emanation of the embodiment of the miraculous, observing wisdom. So the female form really started to take place in Southeast Asia. And let's look at another one. This one is, I'm sorry to say that I don't have the provenance of each one of these, so I tried, did not succeed very well, but I can tell you that this Avalokiteshvara resides at the Asian Art Museum in Seattle. It's one of my favorites. Royal ease. It's the one where it's one leg. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Chris. One leg pulled up. Yeah, one knee up, one leg folded. Royal ease. Thank you. I'll be looking for more. But whatever form that this bodhisattva appears in, the most characteristic quality is infinite compassion for all beings. So much so that Avalokiteshvara postponed his own liberation in order to remain in the world until all beings have attained liberation from suffering. And that is the Bodhisattva vow, which is at the heart of our Zen practice. No matter how developed we become in our practice, we're not trying to get perfect so we can leave. We're here. We're here to respond to the cries of the world. There's a strong connection with Avalokiteshvara in Tibet, and I think that might be coming up here, yeah. And this, in Tibet, Avalokiteshvara is the protector deity of the Tibetan people, and that's where that chant that I think we've all heard before, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, the most popular mantra in Tibetan Buddhism. So the gender. Kannan is the Japanese bodhisattva of compassion, the goddess of mercy, hearing the cries of the world and granting salvation. And then Avalokiteshvara went to China, and I think that the next, this is, some of these are, I'm just going to have to do this in a non-sequitur kind of way, because Annie and I fooled around with the order of these slides, and they kept fooling us. This is a modern form of Avalokiteshvara, and I don't know if any of you know the artist Mayumi Oda. She was a resident at Green Gulch, and was she at Tassajara too? Maybe. Her work is quite widely seen, and if you ever go to Upaya, Mayumi's work is everywhere. You'll see it in the different rooms and in the different buildings. I love that she feminized the image so much, and you'll see. I think at the very end I have one too. She always has a breast showing. She lives in Hawaii now, and she still makes art, and she's been a beautiful contributor to my experience of the form of Avalokiteshvara and of Buddhism. So she got the name Kuan Yin in China, and I think there might even be, this is Kanon. This is the Japanese version. Yeah, let's just go to this one. Go back one. Okay, so some of you have seen this, and this is also in the Seattle Art Museum, the Asian Art Museum, but this depicts this morphing of Kuan Yin. And according to the legend, she tried so strenuously to alleviate the suffering of beings that her head split into 11 pieces. So in some of the statues, you'll see the 11 heads. But when she heard the cries, she wanted to feel them. She wanted to see them. When she heard the cries and reached out to meet the needs of so many people, her arms shattered, and the Buddha gave her 1,000 arms so that she could use them better and have more. And if you look closely at the uh, at the side at the edges, you'll see each arm has something different. There's the wheel of Dharma, that's pretty clear. The lotus flower just above. I think there's a tanka below, a Tibetan symbol. And I don't know if any of you ever seen the pot holder that was sold somewhat widely for a while, and it is a standing Avalokiteshvara with the arms, and one's holding an iron, one's holding a toaster, one's holding a backpack, one's holding a, the role of women, right? And she did a really amazing job of being there for us. So I just want to share a couple of pieces, and let's just see what the next one is, Annie. This is I don't even I can't place this, but it's just a beautiful ceramic figure, and I brought a couple from our collection. They're on the altar, and if you might just go and take a look at and see if you can pick out what is she holding. Like in this one, she's holding a globe. So Chris, can you speak to that at all? The little ball in her hand. I don't know.
I don't. It could be that it's the wish fulfilling jewel, but
Mm,
I
mm,
don't know.
mm, mm.
I know often she holds a flask.
Yes, the little flask. Can you do that?
So,
And it's in her hand, I think, in the right,
flask
the one on the
is
right.
pouring the water of compassion, and often you see her standing on the dragon. And I actually mistook that at one point, that she's like soothing the dragon with the water of compassion, but that was like totally wrong. It's the dragon is actually standing for wisdom,
Hmm.
and so the combination of compassion and wisdom.
Hmm.
Uh,
You can't have, you can't really have wisdom without compassion, can
and
you?
compassion without wisdom
And you
is
can't have compassion without wisdom, really, really. Um, yeah, so take a look at these, and let's see what the next one. This is, Avalokita, come to the garden. My friend has this in her garden, and she sent it to us so that we could look at it today. And is there's one, maybe it didn't make it in here. There's a beautiful one in Balboa Park, and maybe we didn't get it in there. There it is. Yeah. Um, this was when I found this. A friend sent it to me, and it's quite large. The curator at um, at Balboa Park said that they had mistakenly called it the Buddha until they realized, given the way it's seated and some of the symbols on the body, that it is Kannon from Japan. So last summer um, at the Samish Session, Norman Fisher gave a few talks on compassion, and particularly um, about about taking refuge. I have unfortunately mixed up a part of this talk with my. So let me just a second. I'm gonna say something. Please bear with me. So what he said is that in the Tendai school, one of the many schools of Buddhism, um, Dogen received things and then made a translation of the 10-line sutra. First, and this is the Enmei Juku Kanon, which we are going to chant today because it is all about compassion. I take refuge. We have a causal connection, a karmic affinity. Every morning, every evening, arising from life, not separated from life. And when you're chanting today the Enmei Juku Kanon Gyo, think about, just know that it's about taking refuge. It's about causes and conditions, causal connections. It's about karmic affinity. It arises from life and it's not separate from life. This is our interdependence, our interbeing. And this is the point of hearing the cries of the world. If you don't care, well, just let them cry. But you care because you know that we're all connected to one another. So when we do this chant, we're invoking Kanzeon or Kuan Yin to help us to revere Buddha, to venerate Buddha. The one causal condition is the key here. It centers around the compassion of the Buddha. Everything in the world, including suffering and tragedy, exists in order to lead us to compassion. I will just say that over the last few years, I have had a number of orthopedic issues. I've walked with a cane. I don't like canes. I've walked with crutches. I've walked with poles. I've walked with a walker. And I found that when I was in public, I had this great affinity for others who were in that state and can make eye contact. And just making eye contact when you're walking with a walker or with some kind of to somebody else who is almost always gets a big smile because they get it. They know that you know what they're going through. When we invoke Kanzeon, which we will do at length during our service, we invoke our whole earth. We can't forget that everything is a gift. Even in suffering, gratefulness needs to be the core of our being. Sometimes we have to open our arms to form an emptiness. We think they're two things, but they're actually the same. My ecstatic birthday party and my tears over the death of my favorite pet, they're all the same. In the moment of our calling out, we open the hand of thought and live this moment and find that we can be okay. Because there's a spaciousness at the center of that cry. And spaciousness is what we need in order to have room to have compassion. So about 1.5 years ago, I was riding my new e-bike, didn't get very far away from my house and fell over. Now, if I'd been 40, I would have just picked up the bike and kept riding. But I wasn't 40, and I crushed my wrist and my elbow, and I was in incredible pain. So my husband scooted back on his bike to the house, got the car, put me in it, and transported me an hour away to the nearest ER. And I had the most unbelievable pain. And all I could do was grab my arm and close my eyes. I was holding traction. And without a plan, into my mind came, Kanzeo namu butsuyo butsu in yo butsu in buposo and jo rakuga jochon and Kanzeon bon and Kanzeon nen jushinki nen furishin. And it got me there. So I was at Samish listening to Norman. He's giving his talk, causality, yeah, it's all great. And then he told the story of two men who were in a very cold place, like a hut. They had no food, no heat, and they were in dire straits. They thought maybe they would die. And one of them spontaneously started chanting the Enmei Juku Kannon. And it saved them. It got them through. And I was so amazed when he told that story because it's like it happened to me. I didn't think it up. It just came, you know. So it's powerful. I had had the words of that chant placed in my mouth. Sometimes we just can't find it within ourselves to bring up that compassion. I know I don't have to name names, just to say that it's really difficult to dredge up true compassion when the potential recipient is someone we either don't respect or have been hurt by. When we see things we love being destroyed, how do we act with compassion in our hearts for the perpetrators of the damage? And yet, it is there for us. It's our work to find the way in. Pema Chodron says, cultivating compassion is about welcoming the uncomfortable feelings. So let's welcome them. Thank you. May our intentions equally extend